We are keeping an eye on those powerful winds and fire risk, even storms moving through the area right now. And all new at 6, we're learning the Hickory Creek Fire Department, along with multiple other agencies, are on the scene of a grass fire at the end of East Highway 264 in Benton County. We have a crew headed out that way to Hickory Creek right now to get more information from these fire crews. And we are under that red flag warning. A lot of folks, a lot of counties are with the burn ban. And we're just now pretty much starting with this high. We've seen high winds, but it's just now starting.
I think we're pretty much at that peak, and we're starting to see that on the numbers I'm going to show you on the map. At the top of the show, you looked at those cameras, and it looked a little funny out there, didn't it? That's actually dust, and it's these winds that have brought the dust from Oklahoma and Texas, and that's going to continue tonight. So if you got a storm right now, there's pretty much just one in Benton County. I got another one trying to develop on us in Scott County. We'll track that. But once the clouds break, you're going to go outside and look up. Hold on to your hat, right? That's dust. That's why the sky's going to look the way it does look. 52-mile-per-hour winds at the Siloam Springs Airport, 58 in Stigler. We were looking at some really high numbers off to our west earlier. They're starting to come down there. The reason why, well, that dry line's right on top of us. Our winds are going to pick up as a result of that. Our humidity is going to drop, and that's going to elevate that fire weather risk out there. When do these winds calm down? Gosh, well, it's going to be a while. Unfortunately, it's probably not going to be until the overnight hours before we see those winds really drop off. And even then, 5 to 10 miles per hour can't be ruled out tomorrow. Here's what's happening out there right now. This is what we call a dry line, and we don't often talk about these on television a lot, but they're very, very important to what we may or may not see this evening and in terms of the fire weather risk. You can think of it as a cold front, right? You know, behind a cold front, it often gets cooler. Well, the temperatures aren't going to change with this dry line, but the humidity, it's going to get lower. It's dry, right? Called a dry line for a reason. It's the forcing mechanism. It's what's picking up some of these showers and thunderstorms. It's sparking them. This severe thunderstorm is no longer a severe thunderstorm. That warning just dropped off for northeast Benton County. Still got a little bit of lightning out there. That's concerning. That could in of itself spark a fire. That's going to be a problem. Hopefully with the rain it produced, that could mitigate some of that. Largely dry in the River Valley, but notice what's happening over the last few minutes in Waldron. We've got this little cell that's just an old thunder shower right now. Ain't nothing more to it, but it is moving into an area that's going to be a little bit more favorable to produce some severe weather. We do have a tornado watch this evening in effect for Carroll, Madison, Franklin, Johnson, and Logan counties. It's all part of that dry line. If you live west of that dry line, you're fine. We're probably going to give you the all clear in the next few minutes across Benton, Washington, even Crawford and Sebastian. But once that dry line clears, that's when we're going to be able to give you the official all clear. The more ingredients are, the further east you go. I'm afraid there's going to be a lot of folks in central and eastern Arkansas tonight that have a lot more bad weather to deal with than what we've had to deal with here locally. The fire concern, that's going to be our big issue the rest of the evening with those high winds, dropping humidity values, and dry vegetation. Red flag warning in effect for everybody. We'll have a track on Futurecast, another check of live radar, that dust. There's a whole lot of weather to talk about. We'll do just that here in a few minutes.
All right, Scott, thanks. And if you've been out driving in this, it is very difficult. 5 News forecaster Joshua Weisel is in our 5 News Storm Chaser. And what have you been seeing? I know you ran into a lot of rain and maybe even some hail earlier.
Oh yeah, earlier we were right in the thick of it. There was a good pocket of hail that we went through, a couple rounds, moved through downtown Bentonville. We didn't see any severe level hail that's 1 inch from what we were seeing. Based off of what fell on the hood, it was right around probably a penny to nickel sized hail. At times it was kind of those pockets where you can get handfuls of that small hail too. What you're looking at right now though is the storms have cleared out, but notice that hue around the sun. You can't even really see the sun. It's because this is all dust. We've lowered our windows and we can actually kind of smell a little bit of that dusty air and sometimes kind of a waft of smoke moving in as well. So dusty, kind of smoky skies moving into the area. This is going to be pushing in here soon once that makes its way through. We'll let you know if anything changes out here. Back to you.
All right, Joshua, thanks. That powerful wind also toppling trees in Charleston that led to some outages. Power lines also going down. This all happening near the City Hall in Charleston on Main Street. As of right now, about 60 customers are without power in Franklin County. Wind also led to wildfires out in West Oklahoma. This video of Leedy, Oklahoma, it's about 5 hours from here. Town is now under a recommended evacuation order because of the ongoing wildfire. We're also learning evacuations are underway in southeast Norman, Oklahoma, of course, out there in the central part of the state near the University of Oklahoma campus. Back here at home, multiple counties under a burn ban. You can see them right now on this map. Those include Washington, Benton, Crawford, Sebastian, Franklin, and Johnson counties. Tonight, we're learning a total of 10 people have been arrested after a deadly shooting in Rogers last weekend. It happened along near a home along South B Street. 41-year-old Andres Fonseca was rushed to a hospital where he died from his injuries. According to court documents, he was shot at least 9 times. Benton County prosecutors say that 5 of the defendants are juveniles. The state has decided to charge them, though, as adults. All except Noel Gates are facing capital murder charges. Gates is facing 2 charges, hindering apprehension and soliciting a minor to join a gang. Prosecutors add they believe Gates is part of the Pachuco gang. Former psychiatrist Brian Hyatt now has a new date for his criminal trial. He'll now appear in court this fall. Dr. Hyatt is accused of 2 counts of violating the Medical Fraud Act after a confidential informant told detectives there was significant growth in claims and billings to Medicaid, Medicare, and private insurance. He has pled not guilty to the charges. On top of his criminal case, Dr. Hyatt is also facing more than 100 lawsuits from former patients alleging misdeeds during his time as the director of the health unit. New at 6, University of Arkansas under investigation for alleged racial discrimination. This comes after the president threatened to take away federal funding if universities across the country don't roll back those DEI programs. 5 News reporter Kayla Davis has all the details now, joining us in the studio. Kayla, what's happening here?
Darren, the investigation looks into the university's involvement with the PhD Project, a nonprofit organization focused on helping underrepresented students pursue a graduate degree in business. Today, I went to campus where most students don't know this investigation is happening.
I was definitely not aware of this.
I didn't hear about it until right now.
Shock and confusion was the common reaction among University of Arkansas students when I asked if they knew their university is under investigation. In February, President Trump's administration gave schools 2 weeks to stop all programs or practices that treat people differently based on race.
Really, it's confusing to me, and I don't quite understand it. And it just seems unfair.
If there has to have an investigation that needs to happen, I definitely think there's no harm in investigating anything, but I also don't have a clear opinion because I'm not aware of all the facts and everything that's going on.
According to the memo from the U.S. Department of Education, that includes scholarships, college admissions, student organizations, any classes that teach about systemic racism, and more.
Giving access to education to someone who can't normally get it on their own is so critical because education helps us achieve what you need to achieve. It helps you progress yourself in life.
Today, the Department of Education's investigation is largely focused on the university's partnership with the PhD Project, a nonprofit organization focused on helping underrepresented students earn a graduate degree in business.
As a black student, I definitely don't have, just in general, some of the same opportunities as my white counterparts. So I would say it's actually a step in the right direction that the U of A actually is trying to help us to have those same opportunities.
Some students say they want to educate themselves more on what's happening around them.
If we are to talk about it more, I think we would understand it more. And now that I know that gives me a better perspective about the university, because I thought maybe they were just taking it away. But the fact that they're trying and then the government is threatening us, that's scary. That's terrifying, and I wish that were not the case. I wish that it could change.
There should be a way for people to have more knowledge of this, because obviously we are as well knowledge and aware of what's going on this campus, and I definitely think that should be a factor into us knowing what's going on and that being more open to the student body of what's happening.
We reached out to the University of Arkansas for an interview. They sent us a statement saying, quote, "We are aware and are working to gather the facts. We look forward to working with the Department of Education to ensure compliance with the applicable law." Kayla Davis, 5 News.
All right, Kayla, thanks. One local nonprofit expanding the services it offers to help those struggling with mental health issues. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi joining us now in the studio with exactly how the Arkansas Crisis Center is able to help more people than ever before. Jacob?
Yeah, Darren, just a month ago, the Arkansas Crisis Center, or ACC, announced the state's first text-to-chat support for the 988 crisis number. Given the large response they've seen in just 30 days, they feel the need to double their capacity to handle more communications. Now, in the first month of operation, ACC says their text-to-chat program received 618 chats. More than half of those, they say, are from those under 18. ACC says increasing the amount of chats that crisis counselors are able to take on ensures vulnerable community members get the support they need. Usually, if lines are full, calls and texts are sent to a national backup center. With increasing their capacity, Director of Operations Elea Markham says Arkansans will be able to get more localized help.
Knew that we were going to see the increase in youth. We were expecting that, but we weren't expecting to see it go as quick as it did. Our goal is to try to bring in as many chats and texts as possible, so that way we can keep people local and connect those to their local resources.
In 2023, the Arkansas Department of Health says 615 Arkansans died by suicide, a 13% increase over the previous year. Anyone struggling with their mental health can call or text the number 988 at any time, day or night. Jacob Luthi, 5 News.